GTA 6 is still on the way, but there are plenty of games on Nintendo Switch that deliver that same sense of crime, chaos, and freedom. In this list, you're blowing up cars, ruling the streets, and doing gangster stuff your own way. Some are retro, some are serious, and some are totally unhinged, but all of them bring that GTA energy. Let's check out the best GTA 6 style games you can play on Switch right now. This game is pretty much GTA with a cowboy hat, and yeah, it works. You're riding across a vast open world, robbing trains, getting into shootouts, and outrunning the law. It's all here. Wanted levels, bounty hunters, saloon fights, and a heavy story that hits hard. There's a surprising amount of freedom too. You can just vibe in the wild, play cards, hunt, or mess with strangers. Rockstar really nailed that frontier outlaw feeling. On Switch, it's probably the closest thing you'll get to a Rockstar sandbox. If GTA 6 is the future, this one's like a dusty, beautiful past you don't want to skip. It's not your typical crime spree, but this game lets you live the life of a detective in post-war Los Angeles, and it pulls no punches. You're driving around a detailed 1940s city, solving murders, interrogating suspects, and trying to read their damn faces thanks to that facial tech Rockstar hyped back in the day. There's a slower pace here compared to GTA, but the vibe is immaculate. You still get shootouts, chases, and open-world exploration, but now it's all wrapped in a noir thriller. The setting is moody, stylish, and full of atmosphere. It's like GTA's smarter, suit-wearing cousin, and it deserves way more love. Alright, picture GTA in a neon-drenched future where you hack people's brains and ride hoverbikes. Yep, that's Cyberpunk. This version packs all the updates and DLC into one solid package, and on Switch, it surprisingly holds its own. You're playing as V, diving deep into Night City's wild underworld, making choices that actually change how things play out. The gunplay's slick, the driving feels tight enough, and the quests, way weirder and darker than your average crime gig. There's a ton of systems to dig into, from cyberware upgrades to street cred climbing. It's messy, stylish, and packed with chaos. Basically, it's GTA with Chrome. This one takes the open world formula and launches it straight into space. You're the wild card in a corporate-dominated colony system, deciding whether to play hero, villain, or something in between. While it leans more RPG than GTA, there's still that freedom. Talk, sneak, or blast your way through problems. The writing's sharp, the factions are shady, and the choices, they actually matter. Every decision shifts how characters treat you and how the world reacts. It's like if GTA's chaos met Fallout systems and they both wore sci-fi suits. Not your typical crime sim, but the power trip feels just as good. This is the one you go to when GTA feels too grounded and you just want to go absolutely nuts. You're leading a gang that's more like a chaotic army, blowing up tanks in a hot dog costume and skydiving into enemy HQs. It's dumb, it's loud, and it knows exactly what it is. The open world is packed with over-the-top missions, wild weapons, and just enough story to keep things moving. Co-op's there too if you want to bring a friend into the madness. It doesn't take itself seriously, and that's the point. If GTA 6 had a sense of humor this unhinged, it might look something like this. American Fugitive is what you get if someone mixed classic top-down GTA with a gritty revenge movie. You play a dude who breaks out of jail after getting framed, and yeah, you're not exactly staying clean while proving your innocence. You steal cars, rob houses, outrun cops, and just generally cause chaos in a small rural town. It's got this old-school crime drama feel, but with enough modern touches to keep things interesting. Driving feels weighty, smashing through fences is weirdly satisfying, and the whole thing has that just one more job energy. It's a sleeper hit on the Switch if you're looking for some low-key open-world mayhem. Retro City Rampage is straight-up NES-era GTA with way too much attitude, and that's the point. It throws you into a pixel-packed city full of mayhem, missions, pop culture references, and some of the most ridiculous weapons you've ever seen. You can steal cars, wreck everything, and even mess with the game's own code. It's chaotic in the best way, and it never takes itself seriously. The DX collection bundles all the content, so there's plenty to do if you vibe with the old school aesthetic. It's a love letter to retro gaming and GTA-style sandbox madness all at once. Rustler is what happens when someone says, "What if GTA, but in medieval times?" And yeah, they actually did it. You're a guy named Guy. Yep, stealing horses, punching peasants, and getting chased by guards with loots instead of sirens. The top-down chaos feels like old-school GTA, but with swords, crossbows, and Monty Python-level humor. You've got bounties, bribes, ridiculous quests, and even medieval rap battles. Seriously. It's janky in a charming way, and if you can vibe with the dumb fun, there's a surprisingly solid sandbox here. GTA 6 won't have cow dung physics. Rustler already beat it to it. Red Faction Guerilla is one of those games that just lets you blow everything the hell up, and that never gets old. You're on Mars, fighting a corrupt military force, and your biggest weapon isn't a gun, it's a sledgehammer. Seriously, the destruction in this game is wild. You can take down entire buildings just for the fun of it, and the physics make every collapse feel super satisfying. The open world gives you missions, side jobs, and plenty of chances to mess around with explosives. It's not your typical GTA-style city, but the chaos and freedom, totally in the same spirit. Just don't get too attached to anything made of metal. Arkham City might not be a crime sandbox in the traditional sense, but you're basically Batman in an open-world prison full of psychos. So yeah, it fits. You glide around rooftops, beat the crap out of thugs, and unravel a dark, twisting plot with some of DC's most iconic villains. The combat is still some of the smoothest around, and the stealth sections make you feel like a legit predator. The city's gritty, dense, and full of side missions, secrets, and random encounters. It's not about stealing cars, but it is about ruling the streets. And let's be honest, Batman's basically a one-man gang. RICO is basically a buddy cop action movie cranked up to 11. You kick down doors in slow motion, take out bad guys room by room, and it's all super fast, super loud, and super satisfying. The missions are randomized, the gunfights are intense, and every second feels like something could explode. There's a co-op mode too, so if you've got a friend, it turns into pure chaos, in the best way. It's not exactly an open world game, but it nails that instant action cop drama vibe. Think more Hot Fuzz than GTA, but hey, you're still shooting your way through criminal hideouts, so it counts. Police Stories is like if someone took Hotline Miami, slowed it down a bit, and made you actually think before pulling the trigger. You're part of a two-man SWAT team, clearing out buildings room by room, but here's the twist. Every suspect might surrender or shoot, and you have to react fast. One wrong move and it's over. The tension stays high, and planning your approach matters way more than just rushing in. There's even co-op if you want to stress out with a friend. It's not open world, but it captures that law enforcement on the edge feel in short, brutal bursts. Kinda like tactical GTA in 2D form. The Hong Kong Massacre is pure style. Slow-mo dives, neon lights, and non-stop bullet hell action. You're a lone gunman tearing through rooms full of enemies, twin-stick shooter style, and everything explodes into glass and blood in seconds. It's fast, it's brutal, and honestly, it feels like playing through a John Woo movie. There's no open world here, but it nails that gritty urban crime energy. The slow-motion mechanic gives you just enough edge to feel like a badass without making it easy. It's short, sharp, and super satisfying. If GTA had a top-down, hyper-violent spin-off, it'd look something like this. Prison Simulator flips the script. You're not breaking out, you're running the place. As a correctional officer, your job is to manage daily prison life, keep order, and occasionally make morally questionable decisions. You can follow the rules or become just as corrupt as the inmates. There's cell searches, fights to break up, bribes to take or ignore, and lots of small choices that stack up fast. It's not a huge open world, but it gives you sandbox-style freedom inside those prison walls. If GTA ever had a prison DLC, it might look something like this. Low-key, it's weirdly addictive. Deadly Premonition Origins is weird, like really weird, but that's kinda why people love it. You're an FBI agent investigating a murder in a small town that's clearly hiding something, and things spiral into Lynchian madness fast. The open world is janky, the driving's awkward, and the combat feels straight out of a PS2 game. But somehow it all works. There's charm in its clunkiness, and the bizarre characters and dialogue keep you guessing the whole way through. It's part detective story, part horror, part whatever else it wants to be. Not exactly GTA, but it's its own brand of chaotic open-world crime energy. Milanoir is a gritty, pixel-style crime story straight out of 1970s Italy. You play as a hitman navigating through a world of corrupt cops, double crosses, and bloody shootouts, all with that stylish grindhouse flair. The top-down perspective gives it that old-school arcade feel, but the action gets pretty intense. Levels are short and punchy, and you're dodging bullets, using cover, and blasting your way through ambushes. It's linear, sure, but the crime movie energy is strong. Think less sandbox, more Tarantino on a budget, and honestly, that's kind of its charm. Lego City. Undercover is basically GTA for the whole family. But don't let that fool you, it's actually kinda awesome. You play as Chase McCain, a cop who goes undercover to bust crime across a massive Lego open world. You're stealing cars for justice, parkouring across rooftops, and using disguises to unlock new abilities. The city's packed with secrets, side missions, and tons of ridiculous humor that actually lands. It's goofy, yeah, but the open world structure, vehicle variety, and mission flow totally scratch that GTA itch. Just swap the guns for banana guns and the blood for bricks, and you're good. Shakedown Hawaii is like a retro fever dream version of GTA, and yeah, it totally works. You play a washed-up CEO trying to rebuild his shady empire through extortion, scams, and real estate schemes. It's a top-down open world full of chaos, exploding cars, weird missions, and a ton of satire about capitalism gone wild. The tone is goofy, the dialogue is self-aware, and the 16-bit visuals actually make it all feel extra fun. You're still jacking cars and causing trouble, just in pixel form. It's fast, funny, and surprisingly deep once you dig into the empire-building side of things. Number 2, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. This one's less about car chases and more about punching your way through Tokyo's underworld, and honestly, it rules. Yakuza 0 throws you into the lives of two gangsters, juggling crime, real estate wars, and street brawls that feel like action movies. You're not just fighting though. There are karaoke bars, arcades, side hustles, and an absurd amount of minigames. The game world is dense, reactive, and full of weird charm. One minute you're cracking skulls, the next you're helping a dominatrix gain confidence. It's all over the place in the best way. If GTA had more suplexes and dramatic stares, it'd look a lot like this. Whiskey Mafia. Frank's story feels like a tiny slice of a gangster movie, pixelated and packed with drama. You play as Frank, a guy trying to rise through the criminal underworld during Prohibition. So yeah, expect suits, cigars, and lots of shady deals. The gameplay is simple. Talk, shoot, deliver, repeat. But the vibe carries it. It's more of a linear story experience than a full sandbox, but it captures that crime life gone wrong tone really well. If you're into mob tales and don't mind a slower pace, it's got that old school charm. Just don't expect to hijack cars or roam a big open world.